Oh, it says we're live.
It does say we're live.
That means everybody but Instagram. Instagram, catch up, man.
I
Hurry up,
know.
babe.
Now they're live.
Okay, great. Welcome to the Instagram audience, to the Facebook audience, to the
YouTube
YouTube audience, and
Blue
that's it for
tube,
now.
Blue tube audience.
Bluetooth. That's super sexy, Bluetooth.
I know, right? Hey, that reminds me of the Prince song Blue Light.
Yeah, I don't remember that one.
Blue light, turn on a blue light, and we can go all night.
Huh. It sounds like that kind of 70s soul groove.
It was a groove, and it was a sexy groove.
Yeah, right on. Yeah. So here we are,
Yeah.
mid-December.
All right. So last week we spent a lot of time, and I'm not in support of your sister, and I thought let's just check in, see, any good news since last week, or is it
Well,
status
we
quo?
were able to raise $95 through an outreach process,
Okay.
and Dorn got her first MRI, which is the part of the step that she needs to go through to get her diagnosis. And if we're right about her diagnosis, ultimately her disability status, so that she will have some more support
Support,
than just
right?
the siblings. And it's touch and go. We're still working on taking care of her for December, and January is right around the corner. So it starts all over again. It's one of those weird sort of, it feels like almost like a Squid Games episode,
Or Sisyphus, the
right?
roll the
But then
rock.
you realize everybody's doing it. And when you find out that there's literally millions of people who have this MECFS PEM configuration as a result of long COVID, that's when it really hits home. That's when you really understand that not masking in public is just really dangerous. And I get it. People are sick of it. People have their opinions about whether masks work or not, but there's a whole bunch of people still getting long COVID.
Well, do you wear a mask when you go out in public?
I do more than I used to.
All right.
Do
So
you?
that's a sub. No, I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. That was an honest answer.
Yeah, I appreciate it. But what it tells me, like if a house is on fire, you'll leave the house because if you believe it really is on fire. I guess I was recognizing the level of your belief in it all.
Yeah, in your own inimitable Greg style. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, I don't want to wear a mask.
I know.
I hate them. And my sisters hate me for not wanting to wear them.
Right.
Well, they don't hate me. It just makes them very uncomfortable in the sense that they feel emotions of sadness, frustration, and hopelessness as a result. And it's not just me, right?
Do
It's
you have
anybody.
no, I get that. Do you have Apple TV?
Uh-huh.
Have you watched Pluribus?
I'm down to, I think, the third episode,
Okay.
so I haven't
One
watched all of it.
All right. I'm watching it with Jonah. And what I'm fascinated by is how her anger is just holding her in this place of misery. It's like it's a fascinating show. It's really created dialogue. Jonah and I debate about, is this hive mindset really a positive thing? And
Well, that's the successful of the premise and the writing. It's like having us have these conversations about it is the whole point. Like, what does it constitute to having an individualized life,
right.
right?
Right,
Like
because in a sense, it's saying that individuality means there's going to be pain and hardship.
maybe there's a lot to talk about. Let me just say first to everyone, if you're listening now and you intend to watch Pluribus, you are about to hear spoilers. So stop
Okay,
now.
so turn off.
If you don't want to hear it, if you're not going to watch it, or you're sort of like, well, what would get me interested? When they bring her the hand grenade, like, that's just so incredible, right? It's like, okay, they're basically, for those of you who don't know, there's like 11 people left on the world who haven't been absorbed into the hive mind that happened as a result of some strange transmission from another world.
Or from a
And
virus.
well, they engineered something from the transmission that they
Right,
didn't realize what it was going to do, and it got out
right.
because of a cup. Like, let me go back.
It's
That
kinda like
first
COVID.
Yeah, it is a metaphor for COVID in so many ways. And, that first episode where the whole, like, the research facility where they're doing all the work to test these things,
Mhm.
it was really unbelievable the level of lack of protocols that were happening. Like, but I get it. Like, they have no show if there isn't a dumb lab worker who makes some stupid mistakes to let the one sick rat out, right? That then that bites the person and then infects the rest of us. But, the basic idea is that every living human being who survives the virus is assimilated into this hive mind, and they don't require anything else. They can, like, live, they take all of the resources and all of the housing, and they just make it the most efficient thing in the world. And then the 11 people that are left were focused on one in particular, and turns out while they're figuring out why she didn't turn it over, why she didn't become part of the hive mind, they're happy to give her whatever makes her happy, because there's this sort of like, let's be happy sort of mentality. And it reminds me of that sticker from the 90s, right? The happy face sticker, the second time it came
With the
around. It
bullet
was,
through
yeah, yeah.
it. Well, yeah, that was from, what was that comic book? And then they made a series of it. Dang it.
Anyway, so she can have anything she wants. All she has to do is have a phone call. And she's
Right.
like, "What? Really? Like, how about bringing me a hand grenade?" And they're like, "Are you sure you want one?" And she's like, "Yeah, bring me a hand grenade." And so it takes them a little while. They think about it for whatever reason, and
No,
then
I
they
don't think they thought about it.
well, it
They
took
brought
them like it took normally that things happen like that when she wants something,
well, it's
but
your hand
but
grenades aren't at the 7-Eleven. You gotta ship them in.
anyway, so she gets the hand grenade. And then she's sitting with the person who's the one sort of representative of the hive mind that comes to visit her, and they're talking about stuff, and she pulls the pin on the thing, and she's like, "You wouldn't give me a real hand grenade," and then the woman's like, "Yeah, you wanted one, right? We want to make you happy." And so then the person that's from the hive mind has to, like, intervene and get the hand grenade out of the
Rescue her.
space,
Yeah.
and it blows, and it's pretty interesting to watch what happens next. And then at the end of the episode, she asks for a nuclear weapon. And the
Well,
guy says, "Are you sure? I mean, that's pretty destructive." And she says, "Yeah, get me a nuclear weapon." And he walks off. And so, like, just the idea of, if you had $1 million, if you had a hand grenade, if you had a nuclear weapon, and you could do whatever you want, what would you do? Like, this is an interesting part of it. And then the other pieces that we were talking about, like, w- do we all want to be safe and efficient and never have to worry again if it means being in a hive like mind? And the implications are so symbolic, like the whole idea of ACIM and what's heaven like,
mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Never needing anything. We're all healed, right? It's such a brilliant allegory.
Right, and the interesting thing is with the hive mind, there's still all the memories and thoughts, etcetera, characters of the individual as a part of the hive mind, which is why they can be so efficient because they have all the world's knowledge instantaneously.
Right, which is another symbol of AI.
And it is interesting that they do refer to themselves as we and they, in the plural aspect. It's not a singular, it's a single entity, but it's not a singular entity.
Right. We are the sum of us,
Yeah.
and some of us aren't,
Yeah.
apparently. And it's what it is it's basically brilliant TV,
It's a well, and the other thing that Jonah and I noticed is they know how to end an episode.
right? Leave you hanging wanting the next one,
You want the next one. Yeah.
right? When he walks away and it's like, okay, we'll get you a nuclear weapon and that's it. It's just like, what's going to happen now? Like, I can't
Yeah,
wait to tune in next week.
every episode's like that.
It's part Twilight Zone, part,
A little bit, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
You know, what is it? The the one where there's like 12 monkeys and then there's something Z, like Generation Z or War Z, or
Oh,
which is
the
also,
zombie thing?
yeah, with
Yeah,
Brad Pitt and
yeah. Yep, and like you said, with A Course in Miracles, it does bring up questions of like, okay, what does nirvana look like?
right. And if we're no longer forced to confront our egoic karma and we have everything we need and we're happy, does that make us not human? What do you
Well, in
think,
a
Greg?
sense, it I think human is tied to the biology of the physical body, and the Course in Miracles does say that anything finite is an illusion. You might as well call it whatever you want. It's a, a dream. So so that's my thought. I do believe that there is this consciousness, as we spoke of with our guest of that went live Monday, Nick. Um, it's just like now my mind will just go because you get into this realm of we really are consciousness. And right now in these physical forms, this is an illusion. And I always think of a book that I read in my 20s about the Aborigines of Tasmania and Australia, New Zealand, and they would refer to what you and I are this being awake. This was dream time to them, and the real life was
Yeah, that's also part of the Toltec book for the Four Agreements, is that we're all dreaming our reality into existence. And there's some neurological studies that would suggest that there's something to that, that we are all manufacturing our sense perception from within our brains, and that when we all have the same hallucination, we call that reality.
well. That's what at State there was a book that was a science book that a guy wrote um, that was in essence showing how
Was this Dancing with the Woolly Masters?
no, no, it was like a very academic science book, and I can't remember the I always think Philip K. Dick when I think of the author, and that's not who it was, obviously. It was a very academic book, and he had, in a very scientific manner, was showing how these ideas spring up simultaneously around the world. In essence, he was scientifically proving what you just said. And he said there really is, we're not discovering truth, we're creating truth. So we come up with a hypothesis and then we prove it real. Kind of like breaking the 5 minute mile, like how scientifically that was impossible.
The 4 Minute Mile.
4 minute mile.
Yeah. Um, um, that just brings up like the whole idea of there being a truth that's real. Right. And then what happens when we realize that it's all fiction?
Right. Well, what's
What do we do?
fascinating, there's a woman in the drama
Is this
department.
existentialism? Are we having an existential conversation? It sounds like we are.
It
Oh,
sounds
there's a woman. I interrupted you. Sorry.
no, that's okay. Let's stay in existentialism. I don't want to get personal.
Okay. Got it. You were about to tell a story about someone you know who may or may not have given consent for you to talk about them on a live
No,
broadcast.
that wasn't that. It's just noticing there's a romantic interest on my part. And what I've noticed over the past few days is there's choice involved like with keeping the romance alive. Does that make sense? In other words, I've had come up mentally because I started like spinning at one point, like, oh, and I noticed like, oh, I could back off this. I could go, I noticed my mind starting to go, oh, it's not real, blah, 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 blah. I was like, is that really what I want? No, I'm enjoying this. Let's continue. And I made, a conscious choice to keep my energy in the positive realm of flirting and romance. And
Mm, mm. Yeah. Well, the mating dance of the 60 plus human.
yeah, but here's part of what I'm saying is I do think, like, I think there's aspects to life that we believe are not choice, such as falling in love and romance. You fall into love, you fall out of love, and it's not a personal choice made, it happens to us. But I think the reality is it really is a personal choice. We really are choosing the thoughts involved with falling into love or falling out of love, etc.
Yeah, we're choosing who we are in every moment.
Mhm.
And whether you've got, 27 years into a marriage commitment that's declaratively been established as a lifelong till death do us part commitment, it's still a matter of waking up every day and choosing that again. And conversely, you might not have anything to hold on to that says we're a couple and we'll always be a couple, but you still choose it every day, right? As far as that goes.
Right.
The other thing I think is really curious in the northern hemisphere during what we call winter, I notice there's a lot more gravity towards coupling. And I think that's a really deep instinct around self preservation in cold weather and cohabitation at a level where resource cooperation becomes much more necessary, right? And it's fascinating to me because I've seen it in a number of ways show up. And one of the more distinct ways was when I first started noticing it. I was a young man long before I was married. And I was actually able to create connections and um, physical relationships. Sometimes it was just makeouts, but sometimes it was also sexual with women at a much higher rate in right around the beginning of Thanksgiving. Like there's something that happens where just the right circumstances are available. And I didn't notice myself doing anything really that differently. But the previous summer was like had no game, like nothing was happening. And so I'm curious about that. Like it seems to me there's a primal instinct in women around the fall that they want to be coupled up and they're more open.
Well, we're also entering this holiday season, and I wonder if there's some psychological elements to it of, it's a time of gathering and that sort of.
Yeah. We all want that dream to come true, right? But you
Right.
when you talked about involuntary falling in love, right?
Mhm.
I went right away to the science of hormone structure and like when we're 17, it's way less conscious and much more driven by hormones and instinct and desire, at the root level. And then over time, as the instinct of the biology to reproduce plays itself out, there's a big shift in whether the coupling wants to maintain that same relationship. Like people have kids and then they don't have that same spark anymore. Women aren't as interested with their partners and things shift. Men aren't as interested in their partners when they after they've had babies. It's like it's really intriguing and it suggests a kind of passive choice as you were suggesting. We don't really consciously choose. But the same involuntary mechanism keeps my heart beating and my lungs breathing, right? And I can do that until, it stops working and I'll keep breathing and my heart will keep beating. But when I decide to put my attention on the quality of my breath, right, and pay attention to my heart rate, that changes how it plays out. And if I practice that every day, it's called meditation. And then that changes me overall. It changes my nervous system. It changes the way I think, my level of reactivity, my hopelessness or hopefulness. Like all of these things shift from putting the conscious attention on the autonomic or the involuntary, right? So I'm fascinated by your particular dilemma because I've known you a while and I know how much you want relationship. But I also know that at a certain level, you actually don't. You like, I want it, but I only want it like in this narrow bandwidth of how I want it. And I've seen that in women too. Like we get to a certain age and it's like, I really need it to be like this. And I was having a conversation with a friend of my partner's, a woman who was widowed. And she was talking about how finding just the right guy for her, she really wants to have a relationship, but it's like, it's tricky in Marin and where we live. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? And she said, well, I want like a more traditional masculine man because I find myself being in my masculine energy so much. I really actually want to just fall into my feminine energy. And I was evaluating her statements of desire, and I was like, should I introduce her to Greg? So I was actually thinking of this and thinking of you, and I I was like, I didn't say anything to her because I was like, you know what? It's not for me to close that loop necessarily. And I'm not sure that you actually want relationship, like deep, like committed, long-term relationship. So let me ask you, Greg, do you want a deep, long-term committed relationship?
Nope.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, we got
I
a
want
viewer.
planes.
Feel free to comment, viewer. It's great to see you. Uh, this is so interesting, this idea. I do. Oh, as soon as I mentioned them, they were gone. That's so hilarious. Don't
Quit
me
calling
comment.
people
No
in.
one knows I'm here. No, no, I can't be
We're
seen.
just boring. There's nothing going on. You know, I'm good. See you next week.
Well, that was abrupt.
Oh,
Okay.
it's supposed to be quick. It's a quick hit. It's a quick
It's a quick
take.
hit. Okay. All right.
All right,
Enjoy the
love you,
rest of the
brother.
week, Greg.
You too, Mark. Love you, brother.
Love you too.